in the last stream chat, we were working on a few things. We started out working on our deep mob learning system, and we have done a little bit of work to kind of tidy this up a little bit. We have all of our simulation chambers, all of our loot fabricators. We did rewire a little bit to make sure that we could kind of move the frame doors here to the middle, and also to make sure that the contents of these frame doors were accessible to our AE2 system. So we've moved the export bus to the back here, so now it's kind of like right there on the back of the polymer clay drawer. We added a second polymer clay drawer, mostly just for aesthetic reasons, like just to make it symmetrical. This drawer doesn't really do anything just yet, mostly because we're not currently pumping anything into this simulation chamber because, as we mentioned before, the Wither data model requires 880 redstone flux per tick, which is quite a bit, and we don't really need the Wither skeleton skulls, at least not just yet. And on top of that, we did also set up some item conduits, which I could probably show you more easily if I grabbed some item conduits. We have some item conduits pulling all of the matters out of their respective drawers down into the chest and then being pumped around into these drawers over here, just to make sure that they are then accessible by the applied energistics system. Now, we have run into a few issues here, chat. One of those issues is space. You'll see right now that the extraterrestrial and overworlding matter are both full. These little 2x2 drawers here can only hold 500 of a given item, and as of right now, we have over 500 extraterrestrial and overworlding matter. And on top of that, we also have an iron drawer that can only hold up to 2,048 iron ingots. And if we look in the system, you'll see that we have 22,000 iron ingots because this zombie data model here has been whirring away since the end of the last stream. And we also are now finally up to the self-aware tier on the shulker data model as well, which means our diamonds are coming in thick and fast. Also, we've now got 2,200 of those as well. So I think what we should probably do here, almost certainly, chat, is we should look at upgrading our storage drawers to kind of cover this new demand. And I think we might go with these diamond upgrades here, given that we have over 2,000 diamonds, and given that it's only 2 per upgrade, and it does increase the capacity of the drawer by 16 times the base value. I think those are most certainly going to be worth it. And the good news is that if we want, we can even put in multiple diamond upgrades, right? So we could put in not 1, but 2, and I think up to like 6 or 7. Yeah, you could put in up to 7 upgrades into here to really bump up the capacity quite a bit, which is real nice. For now, I think 1 should do just fine on the 3 kind of problem drawers that we have right now. Unfortunately, there's not like a super easy way, I don't think. Oh, I guess there is an easy way. If we get, I think it's called like a disk manipulator. This guy right here, I think. Yeah, the MEIO port. If we make one of these, I believe we can use that to kind of empty out a disk and more easily move items. Because right now, of course, our drives over here are actually quite full. And the reason they're quite full, despite us making 4 new drives in the last episode, is that all of our iron, all 22,000 iron and all 6,000 extraterrestrial matter and all the extra diamonds have overflowed into our ME system. So now there's just a ton of stuff in here, which is less than ideal. Now, how difficult is it to make one of these guys? It's not too bad. It is quite pricey in that it would require 4 diamonds. But again, if we're being honest, we don't really kind of lack diamonds at this moment in time. And it does mean we are going to have to make 2 more of those engineering processes, which I think is probably fine and probably a good idea. This is essentially just going to allow us to fairly easily run all of the iron back into the storage drawer without having to manually take it all out and then manually put it back in, right? That's the idea here. So we'll grab some silicon and we'll do something like this, this, and this. And once we have a few of those, we should then be able to go ahead and hopefully craft up the old in-out port here. We can. We're just missing a little bit of a Fluix cable. Boom. Nice. So I think the way this works, chat, is you essentially can take items out of a disk and put them into the system. And I believe what that should do is, as it pulls all the items out, it should, because we've set our priorities up correctly, it should try and put things into the storage drawer system first. Now, I said we've set our priorities up correctly. However, we did move the draw controller a few streams back, and so I think right now it's quite possible that this doesn't have a higher priority. It doesn't. Let me bump the priority there up to 10 again. So I think we do have to do this kind of one at a time, because otherwise we're going to end up in a situation where we don't have like any space to actually put the things into. But what should happen here is it should take most of the items and put them in here, but then it should also take things like the iron, the diamonds, and the matters, and put them in over here. Yeah, you can see now we've got 5,400 iron in there. That's, 3,000 more than we had mere moments ago. And so it's kind of just a way for us to hopefully fairly easily kind of clean out the excess resources that shouldn't be in these drives in the first place. Nice. All right, and so now we've got, a lot more space there. There's a ton more green on that ME drive, and over here we should see about 20,000 iron ingots. We can. Nice. Now that is kind of taken care of, at least for now, between streams, I've done a little bit of work, chat, because of course the plan for today's stream is to try and get this rainbow generator that we made in the last stream up and running. To do that, we have to make one of each new generator, or one of each generator from extra utilities. There are 16 in total. We have already made all of them once, and I don't think it's going to be too difficult for us to make all of them again. That should be fairly doable. The hard part is going to be running them all simultaneously for long enough for us to get the rainbow blocks. Because, again, if we look at the quest here, the whole point of the quest is, the quest itself is to get a rainbow ingot, but the idea of the quest is to get enough rainbow ingots to make a portal to the overworld. So I believe what we're looking to do here, chat, is we are looking to make 10 rainbow blocks. These, much like the glitched obsidian before them, are going to allow us to make a portal to the overworld, right? We're going to set up probably a slightly smaller portal. We're not going to have the corner blocks, but if we get 10 rainbow blocks, we should be able to make a portal that will take us to the overworld. To make the rainbow blocks, we have to right-click a rainbow ingot onto a Bifrost block. Bifrost block. So a Bifrost block is made by crafting a Rod of the Bifrost with Alpha Glass. I think you do get the Rod of the Bifrost back. You can also right-click a Bifrost block with a rainbow. Oh, that's the same as before. Okay. Yeah, I do think that the Rod of the Bifrost is not used up in this transaction. The Alpha Glass is made by throwing mana glass through the portal, and the mana glass is, of course, made by putting glass into the mana pool. So getting that Bifrost block really doesn't look like it's going to be too difficult for us. But then if we actually want to turn that Bifrost block into a rainbow block, we have to right-click each Bifrost block with a rainbow ingot. The rainbow ingot is made using the rainbow stone, and the rainbow stone is made in the resonator with a stone burnt, but crucially, it requires an active rainbow generator, which means we have to have the rainbow generator working, and to do that, we have to have all of the other 16 generators working, and that's the hard part, because each generator requires different resources, and we have to keep it going. On top of that, by default, the resonator takes 5 minutes to turn one stone bird into one rainbow block. 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Can't you just have 10 resonators with 10 stone burn? So you could do that. We could put down 10 resonators, and we could put one stone burn into each of them, and then we would get all of them in 5 minutes. But I think a better way of getting that done would be to put speed upgrades into the resonator. If you put speed upgrades in there, it's going to reduce the amount of time that it takes to actually run the resonator. However, the downside to that is that it requires a lot of grid power. I did some testing in a single player world, and to turn one stone burn into one rainbow generator, or into one rainbow stone, if you want to use, for example, 16 of the middle tier of speed upgrades, these magical speed upgrades, you need over 1,000 grid power. So that does bring the time right down. I think it brought it down to maybe like 18 seconds. And so in total, it would take about 3 minutes to do all 10 of them, which is much more, palatable as opposed to the 50 minutes it would take by default. But that does mean we have to get over 1,000 grid power, which is quite a big task, right? There is the Dragon Egg Mill. This guy right here, which provides 500 grid power, but the efficiency, it's not like we could just make 2 of those and get 1,000 grid power, unfortunately, because the way that grid power works is that the mills that make grid power become less efficient the more of them you have. You'll see for the windmill, for example, if you're between 0 and 64 grid power, everything is good. You're going to be making about 16 grid power per watermill. However, once you start making more than 64 grid power per watermill, then all of your watermills are going to be 33% less efficient. So they're only going to produce 67% of the grid power that they normally produce, and then once you get over 128 grid power, it drops down to 50%, and then over 512, it drops down to 90%, which means trying to get to, say, 1,000 grid power on watermills would take a ludicrous number of watermills, because after 512, each new watermill only produces 1.6 grid power. So you would need, hundreds of them in order to get up to 1,000. So if we're going to do it that way, I think we are going to have to get the Dragon Mill, which means we are going to have to fight the dragon, get a dragon egg, and then, craft up the dragon mill and use it. But on top of that, I think we're going to have to make quite a lot of lava mills, water mills, maybe some windmills, and some fire mills as well, just to try and, balance it all out. That's kind of the best idea when you have this kind of diminishing returns, because the diminishing returns are separate to each mill, right? So each mill starts kind of diminishing on its own. They don't relate to each other, if that makes sense. Getting back to what I was saying earlier, though, between episodes, I have done a little bit of work on making some new space. You'll see over here, I've kind of moved the garden cloches for the hemp seeds and also the garden cloches for the sugar. And we did do some kind of testing with the Twitch chat, and we did set up a little bit of snad with a miner. And then behind here, we have two vanilla Minecraft observers back to back that are kind of emitting like a redstone pulse every like half second or so, which is triggering the snad here to grow the sugarcane faster to allow the miner to break it, and then that's being pumped around over into this drawer. I have put down 2 drawers for sugarcane. We only need the one. I put the other one down mostly just for symmetry. Like this side over here has 2. I figured it makes sense to have 2 on the other side as well. But the main attraction here, chat, is that I've made a rather large room down here for our rainbow generator. So each one of the 16 cobblestone blocks around the outside here is ready for one of each of the generators. And then the middle here is, of course, for the actual rainbow generator itself. And if I do a quick one of those, I'm hopeful that we can maybe stick that down right about there. We don't actually have to connect that to anything, so we can just leave that kind of floating up in the air like so. But then, yeah, each one of these needs to be a generator. So I guess the first thing, chat, that we're going to do today is try and craft up those 16 generators, which we did before, so it really shouldn't be too difficult, I don't think, for us to do again. All right. I think, chat, that is all 16 generators. So, obviously now we just need to go put them down, right? Now, you do need to be careful when doing this, because the death generator and the TNT generator are a little dangerous. The TNT generator explodes regularly. I don't think it does any like physical damage to blocks, but it will deal damage to you if you're near it. And the death generator emits a death aura, and if you get close to it while it's running, it will give you like the death debuff, which gives you, I believe, 1 minute to drink milk before you die. So, be careful of that one. As for everything else, though, the rest of the generators can really go down wherever they like. Yeah, it really doesn't matter where you put these. I think I will put the magmatic and the heated redstone generator near each other, because both of these do require lava. And so having those next to each other is going to make it easier for us to pump whatever lava we do have into those generators. Oh yeah, the nether star generator does also give you the wither debuff, yeah, so we should probably move that and put that like at the back as well, just to keep it out of the way. But I think the rest of the generators are fairly friendly. All right. So that's the easy part done, I think. Now we need to get to the harder part. So I think what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to purposefully overload the grid power network. You'll see right now we're at grid power 25 out of 32. I think we're going to purposefully overload the grid power network because that way we can start putting things in, right? If I was to, for example, start putting ender pearls into the ender generator now, it would start making power, which is not what we want. We want this to only really start working when we want it to start working, like when we want to make the rainbow generator work. So I think we want to get the grid power network overloaded so that we can then fill all of these with their required resources, or enough of their required resources to run for 3 minutes. Then get the grid power online, like very quickly, get it all online, and then have it begin. That's the plan. Now, there are a few issues. The first one is that we have to also get the power out of the generators, because if the generators fill up on power, which some of them do very quickly, like the nether star generator and the overclock generator, these produce a lot of power and will fill up quite fast. So I think if we want them to keep running, we are going to have to get the power out of the generators. And I think for now, the easiest way for us to do that is going to be with just an energy trash can, just basically deleting all of the energy that comes in. It does require a block of redstone, but that's not particularly expensive. And yeah, I think we'll just hook all of the generators up via energy conduits to that trash can there to make sure that they continue to run. Okay, So now all of our energy is set up in such a way that it should be dumped out into that center trash can there, which is great. The Twitch chat has put forward what I think is a good suggestion. And that suggestion is, instead of trying to overload the grid power network, because while that would work, it's a little janky, and it's also a little difficult to time it right. I think a much better solution is going to be to just toggle all of these so that they turn on when given a redstone signal. Now, I think the easiest way for us to do that is going to be with the old redstone conduits here from Ender.io, which are a little pricey and do require more redstone alloy, but we can run those under the floor in the same block that we've run all of the energy conduits in, and then we can just hook all those up to one lever, and it's hopefully going to be like a fairly clean setup that we can just flick a lever, all of these will turn on, and that will hopefully trigger the rainbow generator as well. So yeah, let's see if we can't make, chat, like a half stack of redstone conduits. Okay. So yeah, let's just do, I guess we're just going to run it in the exact same orientation. Okay. So I think those are all set correctly. I'm going to do a quick one. Like, this one's definitely not set correctly. I think they're all set correctly. Output red. Output red. Output red. Output red. Output red. Output. You guessed it, red. Output 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 red. Place your bets. It's output red. Output red. And we've done output red. Okay. All right. I guess I'll just put a lever down like right here. If I can I do that? I can do that. Does that work? Yes. Okay, so that one is set to input red, this connection here. So that should, when I flick that lever, that should turn all of these on. Obviously, they have nothing in them right now, so they're not going to work, but when we do want them to work, that should work. So now we just need to make sure all of these are set to redstone on. So they only turn on when they receive a redstone signal. And I will test this, of course, with a few of the less expensive and less catastrophic generators. I think we'll start with the Ender generator. Yeah, so those are all connected. So what we should see now, chat, is if we grab an ender pearl, or even a few ender pearls, and we put those in there, and we make sure it's set to redstone on. Was that like the only one not set to redstone on? What we should see is nothing happening. If we flick the lever, it turns on. And one ender pearl does last 1.2 minutes, or 1 minute and 20 seconds actually, which is, 1.3 minutes, but that's beside the point. So that's going to last 1 minute and 20 seconds, which is fine. And we turn that off, and that should turn off. Yeah, the front looks like it's on, but it has stopped working. That's good. And all the power is being actively dumped into here. So the array of conduits that we have set up are, thus far at least, working as intended. So now, chat, we need to do a little bit of number crunching on certain generators. For example, the ender pearl generator here is not going to be an issue, right? Like, this one lasts 1 minute and 20 seconds per ender pearl, and if we want, we can very easily put 16 ender pearls in here, and it'll be just fine. So the ender pearl generator is not one that we have to worry about. So yeah, we'll turn that off, and we can go ahead and put in 16 ender pearls. So those are going to last, 20 minutes. That's fine. As far as the pink generator goes, pink generator. This guy uses anything that is pink, and it looks like everything lasts for 0.5 seconds. The recommended path has been pink stained glass, because of course it's cheaper than regular pink glass, and it lasts. You can make more of it, and it lasts the same amount of time. So it should really just be a case of staining some pink glass here. Now I think I'm going to shoot for 5 minutes where possible. Like, I think it's only going to take us 3 minutes, but if we have enough resources to keep all of our generators going for 5 minutes, we have that little bit of wiggle room just in case something goes wrong, just in case the math's not quite there, right? Like, there's some space to be gleaned. So if we want the pink generator to run for 5 minutes, 5 minutes is 300 seconds. That means that given that each one of these lasts half a second, we would need 600 pink glass, which is pricey. but I don't think impossible. Specifically, 600 pink panels, right? And given that you get 16 of these from 6 glass, that means that you instead do 600 divided by 16, multiplied by 6. So we actually only need 225 pink glass, which is only 3.5 stacks, which is very doable. Okay, so how much do we have? 592, 600. All right, so we have 608 pink stained glass. That should be enough to run the pink generator for 5 minutes. Like I mentioned before, that does, I believe, take up more space than one hopper can handle. So let me quickly dump like a lot of the stuff here that I don't need to be carrying around on me at the moment. And then let's grab like all of the pink stained glass. And just throw it all in here. So that should, as soon as we turn the lever on, feed the pink generator, and that should be enough stuff. Cool, so that's 2 generators down, only 14 more to go. So the Frosty Generator is another slightly awkward one, because I think our easiest option here is going to be, our best option is ice. Yeah, snowballs do work, but they last maybe blocks of snow even. Although, as soon as we have the blocks of snow, we can turn those into ice with the old mana pool. The question really, I guess, becomes whether or not it's worth the amount of mana, because we need, again, 300 seconds, which would mean 300 blocks of snow or 150 ice blocks. Right, which is like 3 stacks of ice. So let's go see, I guess, how much snow we can make. We are going to have to move, I think, our mana pool, because our conjuring pool is a little low, like on mana right now. This one here is pretty empty, but we should be able to just move this around to some of the other pools to get more if we need it. So that's what? That's 180 some. So let's, how much mana does that take? I don't think it takes much, right, to make ice? No, it takes a very small amount. I guess we'll just... Yeah, that seems actually fine. Like, we can probably turn all of this into ice fairly easily. And at that point, yeah, we only need 150. I will go, again, I'll go for the 180. Like, I'll turn all these into ice just to have the excess there. But that should give us over 5 minutes worth of time with the old Frosty Generator. Okay, that's fine. The Culinary Generator, I'm hopeful, is not going to be too difficult for us. How long do apples last, is my first question. In the old Culinary Generator. They last 15 seconds. So, by my calculations, we need 20 apples. That's very doable, chat. So I think if we just put a stack of apples in there, that's actually fine. Piece of cake. Now, now it gets interesting. The Disenchantment Generator does require something to disenchant. We can use books. Now, depending on the enchantment, I believe will determine like how long it lasts. Yeah, you can see, for example, if we can get Feather Falling 4, that will last 6 minutes and 51 seconds. How expensive is Feather Falling 4? Not very expensive. It requires some feathers and some lapis. I think we can do that, honestly. I think we can do that. We could, of course, pick any number of enchantments. Like, I'm sure, like, Fortune 5 is also, or Fortune 3 is also pretty good, or, there's probably a range of them, but the first one I saw there was Feather Falling. It's easy enough for us to get feathers. I'll make a few feathers, I guess. How many do we need for Feather Falling? We only need 4 feathers? Okay. In that case, then. 1, 2, 3, 4. I do 4 of these at once? Oh, we have to shift right click, right? And then at that point, they don't stack, so you can't do 4 at once. All right. So that's 4 feathers. And then we just need lapis. And also, of course, a book and quill. Actually, need a 5th feather, actually, now that oh, no, we already have feathers. Okay, cool. So we just need lapis. And then we can use our extraterrestrial matter here to get experience. Each stack gives us a good chunk of levels there. So you, and you. There is Feather Falling 4. And if JEI is to be believed, that should give us more than enough time. Again, we only need 3 minutes. This should give us close to 7. And so, so long as this is turned off, we can just put that in there and that should work. Nice. The Survivalist Generator, again, probably one of the easier ones, because it burns things very slowly. It does produce very little power, but I'm fairly certain that, yeah, one wormwood plank lasts 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So, again, if we just put in a stack of wormwood planks, that's overkill by far. The Slimy Generator is a bit of a nightmare, because it requires milk. Not only that, but it requires it in bucket form. If we press U on the slime here, you'll see that 4 slime balls and 1 bucket of milk lasts 24 seconds. We need at least 300, which means that we need 50 slime. I think we'll go with the stack just to be safe. And we also need 12.5 buckets of milk, but we'll come back to that one. The overclock generator is also a little bit of a nightmare because, as I showed before, a block of coal lasts for 0.2 seconds. Which means that we need 1,500 blocks of coal if we're going to get this going. Which is a lot. And unfortunately, I don't think that, I mean, maybe coal coke? I don't think we have enough coal coke. The coal coke lasts for 0.05 seconds. I meant a block of coal coke. That lasts for 40 seconds. So the coal coke does last twice as long. But we would, of course, have to, and that means we'd only need 750 blocks of coal coke. Unfortunately, other items just don't last as long. All right, so this is Isaac from the future talking now, because after this point, I spent way too much time doing like unnecessary math, trying to figure out like how many sticks we'd need to run the generator, how many planks we'd need to run the generator, and coming up with like crazy large numbers that were not accurate, because it turns out that despite how fast the overclocked generator is, it can't take more than 1 item per tick, which is like 1 item per Minecraft cycle. And because there are only 20 Minecraft cycles, 20 ticks per second, that meant that so long as an item had a burn time, no matter how short that burn time was, we would only ever need a maximum of 6,000 items to cover 5 minutes, right? 20 ticks per second multiplied by 60 for a minute, and then multiplied by 5 for 5 minutes gets you to 6,000 items. And so all we did is we grabbed the storage drawer for sticks that was upstairs. We had like 8,000 of them. It was a full drawer of sticks. Picked that up, brought it down, hooked it up with item conduits, and that was that. That was more than enough sticks to run the draw for the full 3 minutes. It took me way too long to figure that out, but now back to Isaac for the furnace generator. All right, so that should work. The furnace generator is very much the same, but significantly less difficult, right? I'm pretty sure that planks in the furnace generator, 3.5 seconds, 3.75 seconds. So we need 80 planks. That seems very doable. Extremely doable. We get a hopper, and we stick that on the back, and we put in, 2 stacks of any kind of plank. We should be good to go. You know what? I'll even put in 3 stacks, 4 stacks, just to be on the safe side. Now, the heated redstone generator and the magmatic generator do both require lava, which is something we're going to have to work with. Magmatic generator. Let's just type in lava, and let's see how long that lasts in the old generator. .25 seconds for 40 millibuckets, or 50 millibuckets even, which means that if you take 6.25 and multiply that by 20, you get to 125 seconds per bucket, which means like 3 buckets should be enough. And it's the same in both things here. So if we just put in a couple of buckets of lava into each of these, if we fill each of these with 4 buckets worth of lava, I think we're good to go. We might have to go and grab some lava, though, because I think right now we have depleted our reserves. Oh, no, maybe not. Oh, look at that, chat. We have just shy of what we need here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And then let's get a little bit of the lava out of... Oh, no, we are just a little shy. I guess we can probably just get away with doing that. Right? I think 3.95 buckets is still more than enough, right? That's still way over 300 seconds, so that's fine. And then in terms of the heated redstone generator, that requires both lava and redstone. So for that, 1 piece of redstone lasts for 6.25 seconds. So 300 divided by 6.25, 48 redstone. And so again, I think a stack here should work. Like that. The nether star generator, again, is probably one of the easier setups here. One nether star lasts for 2 minutes. And so we just need 2 nether stars. You know what? I'll make 3 just in case. So that's 6 minutes right there. Taken care of. The death generator, again, is, I think, a fairly easy one. Bones last for 20 seconds, which means we need 15 bones in there. Right now, we have 233 bones, so I'll throw a stack of bones in. Jobs are good. TNT also should be a fairly easy one. I'm pretty sure each piece of TNT lasts quite a while. It does. In fact, one piece of TNT almost gets us there. I will make, I think, maybe like 5, just to be on the safe side, even though that's very much so overkill. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 will do, I guess. We'll put 4 in over there. The halitosis generator runs on Dragon's Breath. And Dragon's Breath lasts for 10 minutes. So we need 1 Dragon's Breath, which seems very doable, chat. Let's get some glass bottles, and let's go grab 3 Dragon's Breath, I guess. Could you please provide me with some of your finest breath? I do appreciate it. Perfect. So there is 3 bottles. We do need one of those to set up a dragon data model. So we'll just put 2 in, I guess, for now. In there. That's still 20 minutes. It's more than enough. And then finally, chat, other than the slimy generator, the only one left here now is the potion generator. Now, much like the disenchantment generator, you can use really any potion here. However, none of them really last too long. And so I'm thinking it's probably just going to be the best if we... also looks like you can't use splash potions, maybe? Or modded potions, potentially. But it looks like I would assume the best option might just be to use water bottles, which can be used in here. They do only last half a second. But if we use a fluid tank, we can probably just have them like cycling around, filling up and being pumped back around over and over again. So, essentially, we have now 6 fluid tanks that are all receiving glass bottles out of the potion generator. The potion generator is going down into a hopper. Again, we had some issues with item conduits pulling out and putting into the potion generator. They didn't do it particularly fast. The hopper seems to do it quite well. So the empty bottles go into the hopper. They're then extracted with this item conduit that does have speed upgrades and has round robin enabled. So it sends them to each one of the fluid tanks. It'll take turns sending them to the fluid tanks. They then fill them up with water that they're getting from the end of war, and then they send them back along the same item pipe over and along into this chest. You see the chest here is slowly but surely gaining water bottles, so we are making the water bottles faster than being used by the potion generator, at which point they're sent down via a hopper into the potion generator, and the whole cycle continues. So this now is running all the time. So, back to the slimy generator. This one's tricky because it requires that bucket of milk. Again, let me check how many slime balls we need. I think it was like maybe just over a stack. 4 slime balls lasts for 24 seconds, which means that we need 50 slime balls. That seems very doable. We are running a little low on cactus here, but that is fine. If we go and craft up some more snad and grab ourselves a lever, we should be able to make quite a lot of cactus very quickly. So let's do like a stack, I guess, of slime balls. All right. So if we're going to get a cow champ, we need 2 leather, 2 wheat, 1 organic brown dye, and a bucket of blood. Do we have an organic brown dye? We do not. We do have at least what it takes to make leather, even if we don't actually have leather. So we can do that. The wheat we should have, and if not, we can always grow some more. We do have it. Beautiful. Let me dump a few items here, chat. The bucket of blood we can do with the smeltery with rotten flesh. And then the organic brown dye is twigs and prunings and slime. The twigs and prunings you can get from dead bushes, you can get from grass, which is probably how we're going to do it. Leaves. Not all leaves, though, I guess. Just, or any leaf. Okay, in that case, then, I guess we'll just do some of the many, many leaves that we have in our sag mill. That's not the right one, right? Oh, no, it is. It's just a small chance. Oh, I see. Okay, that's fine. While we, let that do its thing, let's take some rotten flesh over. I think you need quite a bit of rotten flesh, right? If I remember correctly. Is it 50 millibuckets per piece? 40 millibuckets per piece. With 25? Beautiful. Okay, so the bucket is taken care of. We can also go and do the leather, I guess. Let me also mineral berry up. Beautiful. Yeah, we probably should put a hopper here for the leaves, so as to not have to manually place all these in. Yeah, and then hopefully that's not going to take too long to get us 12. We're already like halfway there, which is good. And at that point, chat, I think we're pretty much there, right? Two leather, 2 wheat, 1 bucket of blood, and then 1 organic brown dye. Yeah, we're basically there. We don't need to get the old slime ball ready to go in the alloy smelter, but that should be okay. So let's do you and you. Beautiful. And at that point, chat, we should be good to go. So 1, 1, 2, 2. Okay, so 1 bucket of blood, 1 organic brown dye, 2 wheat, and 2 leather. And then the final bit is the monster jerky. So once we have the monster jerky, 2 wheat, 2 leather, 1 organic brown dye. Was it 2 rotten flesh? Oh no, 1 bucket of blood. And then you shift right click with the monster jerky. The altar hums pleasantly. And any second now, chat, we should see a cow. Look at that. Beautiful. So, again, if we look at the slime ball here, we can see that 1 bucket of milk and 1 slime ball lasts for 24 seconds in the generator. Which means that if we want to go for 300 seconds, you do 300 divided by 24, 12.5. So 13 buckets should be enough to do 5 minutes with the generator. So what I'm going to do, chat, is I'm going to dump a lot of the stuff here. I'm going to keep those item speed upgrades on me because I do need to make sure that I put those into the overclock generator item conduit. Otherwise, things are going to go wrong there. I'm going to make 13 buckets. And then we're just going to use hoppers, I think. We do need to make sure that we actually acquire the 13 buckets of milk out of the old cow here, but that shouldn't be too difficult for us. So I think, like I said, we're just going to do this. And I think I will move the slimy generator up, much like we did with the potion generator. We'll put it right there. Again, we only need 50 slime balls. That should be enough. But then if we just do hopper, hopper, let's move this. Let's make sure we disconnect, for now, disconnect the redstone there. We don't want any redstone to be outputted to the hopper. Instead, we want the redstone conduit to go up and around and into the slimy generator. We also want to make sure you're not connected either. And then using the old wrench, we can do this and output on red. Beautiful. At that point, all we need is energy conduits. Run those up like so. And I think, chat, that should basically be it. We do need a chest. Because obviously you can't fit all the milk into one hopper. And we should make sure it's redstone on. Oh my goodness, that's burning through the slime. Oh, the slime's being pulled out. I think we can fix that. If we just put a bucket in there. Right? Because buckets can stack. So I think that will work. Yeah, that's not a problem. We do that. We did use up a bucket there, but that's fine. We've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 13, plus the little extra there. I think that's fine. I think this will work. And actually, chat, I think we're there. I think we have every generator ready to go. All of the generators should now have enough resources at their disposal to last for at least 5 minutes. So all we have to do is we have to go get the resonator. We don't have to bring it downstairs, but I'm going to bring it downstairs. I'm pretty sure we could use it up here if we wanted to. It doesn't have to be near the rainbow generator, I don't think. But we're going to bring the resonator down. You know, we'll put it down like over here somewhere. Because again, we don't want to be near the death TNT or wither generator. So all we have to do now is we need to speed up the resonator enough so that in 10 minutes, or in 5 minutes, sorry, we can make 10 rainbow stones. So, to start with, we do need at least 10 stone burn. That bit is already done. Perfect. Now, I mentioned at the start of the stream that 16 speed upgrades. And also, chat, thank you for reminding me. I do need to actually put my speed conduits back in there. That is a good point. But in order to... If I want to speed this up to have them all done in 3 minutes, we need 16 speed upgrades. Now, to make these, we need 16 normal speed upgrades, which is just redstone and gold. That's easy enough. We would then need a lot of magical apples, which doesn't seem too bad, and a lot of these ingots, which also doesn't seem too bad. It does require some gold, but that shouldn't be an issue for us. We need what? 16 multiplied by 4? So 64, a stack of each of these. That seems rather doable, honestly. That seems rather doable. We do already have, I believe, the enchanter. We do indeed. I'm going to put it back down where we put it down before, that being right there. And, of course, it does, once again, require enchantment levels, and you can do that with the old mana pylons. So we'll do you and you. That should be ready to go. Now, we are a little low on gold, but we do have a lot of gold ore, right? So I think that should hopefully carry us through here. We just need the old builder's wand. All right, that's probably enough gold. So, what, a stack of lapis and a stack of gold? Yes. So you and you. That should eventually get there. Yeah, we've got enough grid power to keep that going. That should be fine. I've got to make sure I don't put the gold in the system, because if I put the gold in the system, it's going to get used to make polymer clay, which is not a terrible thing. It is what we set our system to do, but right now that's kind of not what we want it to do, because we're a little low on gold. But that's fine. So magical wood-wise, yeah, we just need 8 magical wood, which means, 24 books, which means 24 leather. As always, I do believe that we should already have enough paper to make all those books. So hopefully, it should just be a case of crafting all these up. And even if we do run out of sugarcane here, I'm fairly certain that we are making more than we're using downstairs. So I think we do have like a crate full of 2048 sugarcane ready to be tapped into as and when it's needed. And so now we need to take those books, craft them on up into the old bookshelves. And then from there, take those and craft them with some gold. We are a little low on XP, but that is fine. As we showed before, we can use our extraterrestrial matter and just shift right-click that stacks at a time to get quite a lot of experience. And boom, we got 10 of those. We only needed 8, but that's fine. Apples, we of course have in abundance. And so if we go ahead and craft those up, we get a stack of magical apples. Nice. So we do, of course, need to actually make 16 regular upgrades. So we need 16 blocks of redstone, which thankfully is doable. We then need 16 upgrade bases, which requires 16 golden pressure plates through the old resonator, which again should be very doable. And then we can just start making them. Like I said, I think I'll put the first few in here to make that a bit faster. And by the first few, I mean the first one, because otherwise we don't have enough grid power. Okay, so that's 16 regular speed upgrades. Hopefully this guy is somewhat close to done. He's not, but we can maybe put some speed upgrades in him. Yeah, we totally can. Nice. And there we go. Nice. All right, so that should be all 16 speed upgrades. It is. Now, like I said, if I'm not mistaken, in order to actually run the resonator, specifically to make rainbow stone, because the rainbow stone, like if I was to put regular old polished stone into here, the polished stone doesn't require that much grid power. The resonator does require more grid power to make rainbow stone than it does to make, regular stone burn. So by default, it only needs 8. But I think as soon as you put in rainbow stone, it needs like over 100, just out of the gate. That's without any speed upgrades. If we're going to run 16 speed upgrades, we need a ton of grid power. All right, so this is Isaac from the future talking again here, because after this, I spent like 30 minutes discussing with the Twitch chat what was going to be the best way for us to move forward in terms of making grid power, whether or not it would be viable for us to not use dragon egg mills and try and get away with a bunch of water mills, lava mills, wind mills, and fire mills. After a lot of discussion, it turns out it's not really that viable. You can do it, but you need so many of them that it would have just taken us way too much time and way too much space to set it all up. And unfortunately, because we're playing on a server, only the first person to kill the end dragon actually gets a dragon egg from killing the end dragon. So what I had to do is I had to create the dragon data model from Deep Mob Learning, which is fairly easy to do. It's just a blank data model with a dragon breath that we got earlier in the stream. And then we had to kill the dragon and get up to at least 6 kills before we could then use it in the simulation chamber to get the pristine matter. Now, thankfully, there is what I assume is a bug in the game where if you keep hitting the end dragon with projectiles after it's died, that counts as multiple kills inside of the Deep Mob Learner. So what we did is we made a shuriken, which is a ranged projectile from Tinker's Construct. I made mine mostly out of evil infused ingots, which are those ingots you make with iron and nether stars in the enchanter, the same enchanter we used earlier to make the ingots for the speed upgrade. And then using that projectile and using my sword, I went through, I resummoned the end dragon, and then we fought it. I believe in total we fought it 3 times, because the first time around I didn't know about the exploit. The second time around we did it and we got 2 kills for the price of 1. And then the third time around we did it again and we got like 4 or 5 registered kills on the data model despite having only killed it that one time. Once we had the basic data model for the end dragon, I brought it back, put it into the loot fabricator that we were previously using for the wither skeletons, and then I did move temporarily the nether star generator upstairs because the simulation chamber with the dragon data model required 2,500 redstone flux per tick, and so temporarily we did craft some nether stars and use the nether star generator to make that happen. Unfortunately, much like with the shulker data model before it, at basic tier, there's only a 5% chance to get a pristine matter, so it did take us quite a while and quite a lot of simulations to actually get enough pristine matter to make some dragon eggs. And to top it all off, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, because of those diminishing returns with the grid power mills, we actually ended up needing to craft 4 dragon eggs and 4 dragon egg mills to get anywhere near close to the 1,000 grid power that I wanted to have for my speed upgrades. We didn't quite get there. I think we ended on about 960 grid power with 4 dragon egg mills, but that was close enough. And so now I'm going to hand off for the last time back to Isaac of the past, who is now hopefully going to get some rainbow blocks. I think, chat, that 964 grid power should be enough. We're not going to be able to put all 16 speed upgrades into the resonator, but I think that's fine. I think all of the generators here have enough fuel or enough stuff in them to last. We calculated for 5 minutes, right? My initial calculation was that with 16 speed upgrades, which needs 1,000 grid power, we would have needed to keep all these running for just 3 minutes, right? However, well, when we actually set up the generators, we budgeted for 5 minutes. So I think we can run this with probably significantly fewer, maybe even half. Like, maybe not half, but we can probably run it with, like, 11 or 12 speed upgrades and still get the benefit and still get all of the stones in time. So, let's re-put down those nether stars that we lost trying to get the dragon egg mills working. I'll put 3 in there. Let's make sure that we have... Why are you online? Oh, I need to turn it off, of course. My bad, chat. So, yeah, let's get the stone burn. And by that, I mean let's get some polished stone so we can make some more stone burn because we used our stone burn making water mills. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, we should take our ring off here because we don't want to be using, grid power if we can avoid it. Perfect. So we are using 9. But that's okay. So, this is it, chat. We're going to put 10 stones into the resonator. I'm going to put in 14 speed upgrades. 960. You can see it right there, clear as day. 960 is too much. We only have 930 some, so I'm going to take another one out. We're going to go 13. 896 is fine. So, I think that if we turn this lever on, chat, that we're going to be there. I think all the generators should come online. They should all last for 5 minutes. And we should get 10 rainbow stone. It's working. 22 seconds. 22 seconds multiplied by 10 is only 220 seconds. 220 seconds is 3.5 minutes, chat. I'm pretty sure we've done it. I am pretty sure that we have done it. Look at that. Oh, they're all online. It's all working. All the generators kicking into gear. Oh. Oh. Perfect. It worked. It took us 4 hours. But we've done it. We done it. Hello, my friends. I'm glad you all decided to attack me at once there. That's very nice of you. All right. Hello. All right. We have 12 rainbow stones. We have done it. Holy heck. So, in the next stream, chat, we will come back. We will look at getting an arc furnace. Because now we need to run the... oh, hello, my friends. We need to run the 10 rainbow stone through an arc furnace with uranium, ender crystals, and prescient crystals to make 10 rainbow ingots. We then have to right-click those 10 rainbow ingots onto 10 Bifrost blocks. So we have to make a Bifrost, a rod of the Bifrost, which is very easy to do. It's just a bunch of stuff through the Elven portal, at which point we should have all of the rainbow blocks, these guys right here, that we need in order to get through to the overworld and start with the final quest line in this mod.